This is the workout for Thursday, phase 11. It's strength endurance, so 40 seconds of work with 20 seconds of rest for 4 rounds at each station. We're gonna have 5 stations, so they'll get 4 rounds at a station, and then after the 4 rounds, they'll switch to get to the next station, and they'll be going around all 5 of them. So 40-20, trying to work on that strength endurance a little bit more. The first thing that we are gonna have is going to be plate chest press. So for this one, it's 40 seconds. You probably aren't gonna be able to go super heavy as they would for the shorter round. We want to try to challenge them to go heavy as they can. So they're going to have a plate, all the way up to 45 pounds as heavy as plate, and if they can grip 2 plates, so if they can do 45 and then 10 or something like that, if they can hold it, they can do that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is regular plate chest press, feet flat on the ground, back flat, and just pressing up and down. So they're doing this for 40 seconds continuously. Make sure that they're just keeping their back flat, keeping their head flat, and then just pressing all the way up on this one. So all the way up and then back down for these. Do try to challenge your weight. We do have one way to modify this. So for that, take a band, get it under your back, and then they're going to hold the weight and the band. So band on their back, adding a little bit of resistance, pressing up and back down. With this would be if they want to add a little resistance. They don't have to do this, but this is the hardest modification we have. Just adding that little bit of added resistance in there. So that's a way to modify it, make it a little more challenging. Like I said, they don't have to do it if they are already challenged, but it is a way to challenge people a little bit farther on this one. So that's the first station, plate chest press over here. The second thing we have is going to be over here. We're going to have eccentric goblet squats to a box. We are going to use dumbbells for this because we're using the kettlebells for something else, so we want to use dumbbells. There are a few ways they can hold this. I roll it like this. They can also hold it like this up on their shoulders if they want to, whichever way is more comfortable. So on their shoulders or in a goblet position right here. They're going to have eccentric squats to a box. So we'll have some boxes set up over here. First thing we want to do, get the right height. So we want it to be right about so their knees are in line with their hips. If they are under 6 feet, they do not need the highest box. So if they're under 6 feet, they do not need anything this tall or higher. So don't head over the pad, try them on the side or setting here. If they're a little taller, they can go up, but try to make sure we're getting good depth on our squats. So what we're going to do, we have an eccentric 3-second squat. So we're grabbing our weight, we're going down for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to rest on the pad. Use our body to help us get it back up. And then 1, 2, 3, rest on the pad or rest on the box, and then back up. So we're really focusing on that downward phase. We're not falling, we're under control going down, and then we can just use our body to get back up. We don't have to worry about timing on that one, so just stand back up in between. But do really make sure we're getting that 3 seconds down the whole way at a consistent speed. What people will tend to do sometimes here is they'll go part of the way down, 1, 2, 3, and then they'll fall the rest of the way. All right, we don't want that. We want them going all the way down, lowering control the whole way, counting the whole way down, not half the way, and then falling. Right? So make sure that people are doing that over here. So this is the second station. If we do need anyone that has any issues with this, we can do a TRX squat. They should be able to do it since we are doing to a box. Give them some to support, but if they have to, we can do TRX squats as well for a modification over here. So that is the second station. Third thing we have is going to be over here by the wall. We're going to have some bikes lined up here. I didn't get the bikes out, but we're going to have bikes lined up along the wall right here. For this one, with the bikes, we want to make sure we're going at a consistent pace for the whole 40 seconds. So don't go full out sprint at the start. Try to keep a consistent pace throughout the 40 seconds. We do want it to be intense, but we also want to make sure that they're able to maintain it for the 4 rounds. So 40 seconds on a bike over here for 4 rounds of that. Just a consistent, intense pace. So that's station number 3. Station number 4 is going to be over here by the wall. We'll have some kettlebells set up along the wall here. We are going to have kettlebell gorilla rows. So we have the main version, we have a couple modifications here. So the main thing we have, we're going to have a kettlebell right there, feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. Then we're going to have our knees bent and our hips back. So hips go back, the knees bent to get us all the way down. We're going to grab the side of the kettlebell. We want it to be touching the ground when we start, and we want it to touch the ground every rep here. So they're down here, holding the side of the weight, pulling up to their chest, back down, touching the ground every single time. Keeping those elbows as close to their body as they can. And then just squeezing their back at the top. Like I said, we don't want them to touch the ground every time. Rest the weight on the ground. And then just make sure they're keeping that back flat the whole way. We don't want them using their body or anything to help get the weight up, just keeping those elbows tight. Now, if we have someone that needs some modification for this, we can grab them a bench and do an incline support or supported row. So if they need to, they can do a single arm row on a box. So bench, we can just have a bench rowing up. I don't have one out here now, but we will have some set up if we need that for them. So we can do that to make it a little bit easier. That would be only if they need a little more support or any back issues, but otherwise we're doing gorilla rows. Then the modification to make it a little more challenging is going to be alternating single arm gorilla rows. So they're going to be in the same position. They're going to have 2 weights on the ground. Same thing, hips back here, and they're going to grab the weights. And they're going to alternate, so one arm comes up, other arm comes up. So they're just alternating sides, touching the ground every time. Same thing. Again, this is only if they can go more than 50 pounds. So if they can do 50 pounds, and they're like, this is easy, I want to challenge myself a little more, they can do this modification, make it a little more challenging. But again, if they can't do it, we don't want people doing this if they can't do 50 pounds, right? So same thing, keep the back flat, keep the shoulders nice and flat there. So this is station number 4. Station number 5 is going to be over here on the turf, right around here. So the first thing that we're going to have here is grab a medicine ball. We do not want heavy medicine balls. This is not about being heavy, so we'll only have 4, 8, and 10 pound balls, so really light. They're going to grab it, get in between their knees, and we're going to have a medicine ball squeeze glute bridge. So like I said, the weight isn't the important part, it just gives them something to squeeze against. So squeezing as hard as they can against the ball, and then hips up, hips down, up, and down. So all the way up there, just like a glute bridge, I want to get it all the way up, all the way down with this. Over the course of 40 seconds, it will get tough. So that's why people might want to say, I want a heavier ball. That's not the challenging part. Challenging is just squeezing that ball, maintaining it for 40 seconds, getting the good quality glute bridge with the hips all the way up in. So don't worry about the ball, just try to make sure they're getting those hips all the way up, and then if they want to, they can go a little faster, kind of speed up a little bit to try to challenge themselves a little bit more here. All right, so that is the main workout. We do have a finisher on this day. So for that, what we're going to do, we're going to have a core focus finisher. So we're going to have 2 exercises that we're going to do. We're going to do them for 30 seconds each, and we're going to do it for 3 rounds, so it'll be 3 minutes total. So the first thing we have is going to be plank reaches. So we're going to have a cone out here. We'll have everyone these little cones. They're located in the box that has the dodgeballs in them, so they're right in there. So they're going to be on their hands or their elbows. Elbows is a little bit harder. Hands is a little bit easier. The cone's going to be out in front of them, and they're just going to be reaching, tapping the cone, alternating sides. So just tapping side to side. A little bit harder. They can go on their elbows, reach out, tap the cone, reach out, tap the cone. So this is a little bit more challenging version. If they have trouble with that, what we can do is pledge planks, which are easier, still working on that stability, but not quite as challenging of a reach. So that would just be in a plank here, reaching for their opposite shoulder. A little bit easier there. With this, one thing we want to look out for is people having the cone too close to them. So with this one, since they're setting the cone out, they're probably going to set it too close in a lot of cases. So they might set it right there, and then they're just tapping like this. That is not challenging. So what you can do, just move the cone a little bit away from them, challenge them to reach all the way out, and challenge their stability even more here. That's the first thing. They're going to do that for 30 seconds. Then, the second 30 seconds is going to be cardio climbers. So for that, they're going to be in a plank, all right, like this, and then just going up, straight forward, alternating sides for 30 seconds. They can go quick, but make sure they're not bouncing their hips. So hips are not coming up when they do this. They're not jumping, right? They're keeping their hips there, moving their legs. They can go fast, like I said, just keep it under control. Now, if we need a modification, we can do this incline, so we'll have a bench set up over here. Then, all we're going to be doing is just same thing, alternating sides. They can go quick as well, but usually people who need this would be a little overweight or have any knee issues. So that's probably why they would need a modification, so they don't have to go super fast. Just try to challenge them no matter what version they're doing. All right, so that's the finisher. Again, 2 exercises, 30 seconds of plank reaches, 30 seconds of cardio climbers for 3 rounds, which is going to be 3 minutes. And that is the finisher, the workout, and then the finisher for Friday, phase 11.